Welcome to YOUCANIC. Today here on YOUCANIC we have a 2018 GLE350 and we are changing the front brakes and rotors. The car has been raised up, supported on jack stands for safety, and also the tires are chocked so the vehicle won't move and roll away. And remove the front tire, turn the steering wheel to the left to be able to have better access to the components we need to on this. So we have a bracket right here that we'll remove, and then two bolts here that are the glide pins slash bolts for the caliper to slide back and forth, and then we'll have two bolts that we remove that are size 21 to remove the carrier bracket, and then that way we can proceed to removing the brake rotor itself to replace that. So to start with, there's this spring bracket here that we'll need to remove, and you just take a pry bar or screwdriver, and if you press it back, then you'll be able to pull it out. This little tab kind of sits in a groove in there. We'll reuse this. If this is broken, you'll need to get a new one. So that's undone. While we're at it, we have this set screw that holds this brake rotor on. Also, there could be, depending on how often it's been taken off or not, there could be some roll pins that are here that you'll want to knock in and out to be able to get this off a bit easier. But while this is fairly intact, we want to see if we can loosen this. And this set screws here, they can be a pain, so you may need to lube it up and have it sit for a while and just have to be careful to get it out. If you can't, you can drill it out. So now we'll go to the back here. We have covers. There's a rubber boot with a plastic cover that is covering the glide pin bolts, and they're a size 11 Allen. And so then we'll loosen and remove those. Okay, so those are unbolted and loosened. We're going to unbolt this bolt here, which is an E10, and that is just to gain access to be able to remove this sensor, so that because this is the brake wear sensor, and we're going to be replacing that. And now you'll just pull this connector apart, and then we'll set this aside. That all undone, then we can pull this caliper off. And then rotate it up to the top and causes minimal stretch on our brake line as we possibly can. Now we can remove this carrier to be able to remove the rotor. And those are size 21 bolt. Alright, carrier removed and set aside. Now we'll go to removing this. So that set screw that we loosened before, we didn't remove it completely. So we're going to remove it. And now we'll be able to tap this rotor off. You may have to use a bit more force than on sometimes. And like I said, there might be some roll pins here that can cause some more resistance, and so you can just tap them through and then reinstall them. If you don't have them, it's not a big deal. So that's the that's how you would remove the rotor, and then you would be able to put your new one on and line up the bolts and the set screw. Just showing you how it's done. This rotor is being reused. Tighten that set screw in and we're good to go. Next, we have our brake caliper here and we need to push the pistons back. Now that we've pushed those pistons back, we need to pop this off. And then this was our wear sensor, and we're putting a new one, so we don't need to worry about that one right there. You're going to take your new pad. So that locks into place there, and that's all set and ready to go back on to the rotor. Let's put a little bit of brake grease on our glide pins here. And then with that done, we're going to look and see if we don't have any real buildup there. Clean it off a little bit. We have our carrier. Just want to look it over, clean these up with wire brush where the brakes slide. And now we can put this back on. These are our size 21 bolts. Okay, so those are on good and tight. Now we can take our new outer brake pad, install it in there. You can take the brake caliper, rotate it down. I need to push the glides back a bit and get this started, and we can tighten those up. So that's all tightened up. While we're at it, we have to put the sensor back, or the new one in. Just press that sensor in there until it bottoms out, and then you'll be able to connect this up and put your E10 bolt back in. Tighten it up. That's all installed there. Last thing is we have the spring that goes on the front here that holds this together. So just do this in reverse order. If you get the top in, you'll be able to just pull the bottom out, and then we just use that same pry bar of pulling it back and pressing it toward the vehicle. Lock that tab into place. And then when you're done, you'd put your tire on, set the car down, torque that to spec, be good to go. Make sure you pump the brakes to fill your caliper up so that when you go to stop, you can stop. And that's how you replace your front brakes and rotors on your GLE350. Thanks for watching YOUCANIC, where you can be the mechanic.